we have also been hearing quite a bit about Moloch over the past few days.
Oh shoot. Show me everybody. Hi. Mr. Mesopotamia and ancient Near Eastern history nerd here. Hi Thumper, thank you for letting me sketch this. I'm no Dan McClellan by any means, but I think I can weigh in on here. So Moloch, we're going to talk about it. I actually really love this subject. It really is crazy and fascinating. So, first off, Thumper, amazing video. Now, before I just start saying here, making this a video how great you are, let's talk about Moloch. So, sorry y'all, I'm excited. We need to understand something very, very, very important to even begin this. And what that is, that we need to understand that Semitic languages, such as the Ugaritic, the Hurrian, the Semitic, what becomes Hebrew, didn't use vowels. So, the Northwestern Semitic languages, such as Hebrew, Phoenician, Ugaritic, and its cousins, we see this word only as MLK. Now, what does MLK mean? We can see this root come forward in the Arabic term Malik. We can see it as MLK. We can see it as Hebrew Melech. All of these meaning king. Sharu in Akkadian kind of holds the same thing, but that's outside of it. But, so what we don't have the word Moloch, right, when we first see this. We have the letters MLK, and it's kind of filled in from there, and that creates a very interesting thing that occurs. So, in the Hebrew Bible, Molech, Molekh, appears in a form of condemnation. We see it in Leviticus 18:21. We see it in Leviticus 22 to 5, 2 to 6, and Jeremiah 32:35. So this is associated with children being passed through a fire. There is a lot of belief that the Melech ritual of this, or the Molech ritual of this, was a jumping of a line of fire. This is still a ritual we see in many cultures as a sort of coming of age thing. You know, there's fire in the sand, you jump from one side to the other, you are purified, and you come out as an adult. We also see it, like, even looking into the Gnostics, when they talk about baptism of fire, we see it in some Eastern stuff. So this is a very real ritual that occurred. However, there's a very interesting thing that occurs with the term going from MLK with that to Molech, and that is a phenomenon I'm going to call shame vowing. So, because the Semitic languages didn't use vowels, what would end up happening is that you could insert vowels to change a term. So we see this with the term Bosheth, where this was originally when Yahwistic monolatry was going on, which is a whole other spiel, where words of Baal would end up being changed. So, like, Eshbaal was changed to Ishbosheth. So Bosheth would be a term in Hebrew that meant shame. And so when you take the vowels, those are your shame vowels, the OE there. So adding OE to MLK gives us Molech, which creates a hostile, shameful connotation to it. So Molech would have been MLK, king, with the shame vowels of O and E slapped on. So just as Eshbaal becomes Ishboshet, Milk becomes Molech. Sometimes with a K, sometimes with a KH. Now, the Moloch, Moloch, is not something we see in any archaeological evidence at this time. We do get the Molech, which is the inserting of the shame vows for the offering, the ritual category, and a divine epithet meaning king. And it also was a royal epithet. So, like, King Solomon. If you didn't like Solomon, you could have called him Moloch Solomon. Which, I mean, things would not be good if you did that, but... So we do see these inscriptions using MLK. Now, it does start to get really wavy-ish when we look at, like, the Punic and the Phoenician connection of this. Because in Carthage and Phoenician sites, we see tophets, which are cremated remains inside vases. These vases are normally holding inscriptions to Baal Haman and Tanit. When tested, the remains of these vases did show evidence of youth, but also youth animals, and we do see MLK here. But we see it as a votive offering, a promise so it would be like a MLK, a Melech to Baal Hadman and Tanit for a promise fulfilled. So basically a votive offering that we have put together that is to fulfill the promise that, hey, if we give you an offering, you'll make this plague go away. You'll make this problem go away. You'll make this disease go away. You know, this drought, whatever. So by the time we get to the biblical writers, we've collapsed this ritual and this title and this foreign theology that are all pulling from the MLK Semitic root kind of together. Now, from there, it's kind of just left this way. MLK means three different things. It's not until Second Temple Jewish literature where Molech takes on an idol allegory, where now all of these, because all of these things were frowned upon. The use of the term as king, the fire jumping ritual, and the offering, the sacrificial offerings were all frowned upon by Second Temple Jews. So, Second Temple Jewish people. So, adding the OE just was like, all of this is shameful, instead of us making different originating stems. So, the Second Temple literature turns Molech into this aggregate of this stuff. Not directly saying it is a deity, it is a spirit, or anything. It's just like, this is the idol. This is the facade straw man that we are talking about. The early church fathers then turn him into a demon prince because they are on their demonology grind, which makes medieval demonology run wild. And then, Milton, and a lot of pop culture give us what we have. And so you hit Allen Ginsberg, and Moloch is seen as capitalism, war, machinery, and devouring systems in Ginsberg poems. But we're no longer talking about the ancient thing. We're talking about a poetic allegory. So basically what happens is from the beginning, we don't have a neutral description of Moloch. We have MLK, that we have added OE in. Even his own worshippers were using the OE as a derogatory term of king. Then it's used as a symbol of a fire jumping ritual that is forbidden by the Jewish people. And then later this cosmic youth eating whatever goes on. So we don't see anything about a deity at all. What we see is multiple generations doing a policing of their religious boundaries. Now, this is already 9 minutes. There's a whole second half of this stuff about the nuances with Carthage and the Phoenicians. I might make a video about it. But, anyways, Shamu, everyone. Thumper, thank you for letting me stitch this. Hope this helped back you up. You were right on the money. Here's some more context. You all have a wonderful night. It is so late for me. May your ancestors bring you the sweetest of portents. May you have the most wonderful of dreams. Stay safe and stay warm. Shamu.